Today on Forbes, how the world's second richest person and his son pulled off the $8 billion Paramount deal. The Federal Communications Commission greenlit the $8 billion merger between Paramount and Skydance Media last week, 383 days after the deal was first announced. The merger, which is set to close on August 7th, will transform Larry Ellison, who is 80 years old, and his son David Ellison, who is 42, into one of the most powerful duos in Hollywood, wielding influence over TV shows, movies, news, and more. As Paramount's chairman, CEO, and owner of 50% of its voting rights, David Ellison will oversee an entertainment empire with more than 1,200 film titles, including everything from Top Gun: Maverick to a remake of It's a Wonderful Life, plus distribution rights to another 2,400 films. Other crown jewels include popular channels MTV, Nickelodeon, Showtime, and CBS News. But it's his father who controls the purse strings and owns the equity, according to regulatory filings. The elder Ellison may have helped get the deal over the hump in other ways, too. The merger was approved only after some key concessions from both parties. Paramount agreed to pay President Trump $16 million to be used for his future presidential library in July to resolve a lawsuit over 60 Minutes' edit of a 2024 interview of Kamala Harris. A couple of weeks later, CBS said it would end Trump critic Stephen Colbert's late-night show next May, citing cost overruns. Ellison's Skydance, meanwhile, had to make written commitments promising that the company's programming would embody, quote, a diversity of viewpoints from across the political and ideological spectrum, and that it would, quote, adopt measures that can root out the bias that has undermined trust in the national news media. This, per the FCC's letter announcing the decision. Another late change had to do with Ellison's control. FCC filings from September 2024 initially showed that David's father, Oracle co-founder and chief technology officer Larry Ellison, the second richest person on earth, held all of the voting and equity shares in the Pinnacle Media Ventures holding companies acquiring the Paramount stake. These shares were held through his Lawrence J. Ellison Revocable Trust, the same entity that owns his Oracle shares and most of his estimated $1.5 billion in real estate. Per these filings, the Ellison family also owned 67% of the equity and 78% of the voting rights in Skydance, in part via Sayonara LLC, a parent company of the Pinnacle entities. In October 2024, an amendment filed with the FCC changed the voting rights so that David Ellison held 100% of the Pinnacle entity's voting interest, but Dad kept the equity. There was yet another change in mid-July. This time, David's voting rights in post-merger Paramount were reduced to 50%. His father Larry got 27.5%, according to FCC filings. That means no single shareholder can outvote David, but it also means that he needs his father to approve everything from budgets to key investments. Larry Ellison appears to control all of the Ellison family's approximately 26% equity stake tied to those voting shares in post-merger Paramount, plus at least 10% more with no voting power, assuming all existing shareholders choose to receive their maximum cash out. On top of that, the Ellisons also own another 6.7% equity stake through Skydance Entertainment Group, per the initial 2024 filing, although it's unclear how that's split between father and son. If his dad ever decided to team up with Jerry Cardinale's Redbird Capital, which invested in David's Skydance in 2020 and controls the remaining 22.5% of the vote, the two parties could block David Ellison. David Ellison could also sway Redbird if his father disagreed. It's possible that President Trump's taking office in January also had something to do with it, too. While David Ellison met with both Trump and FCC Chair Brendan Carr ahead of the deal's approval, he also donated around $1 million to Joe Biden's re-election campaign in February 2024. Meanwhile, Larry Ellison and Trump have a long-standing relationship. In January, Ellison showed up at the White House to help Trump announce his $500 billion Stargate AI infrastructure initiative. And Trump told reporters that same month that he'd be open to an Ellison-led deal to buy TikTok, for which Trump has extended its sell-by date to September. Plus, Ellison has promised an overhaul of Paramount-owned CBS, potentially seeded by Skydance's vow to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. For full coverage, check out Phoebe Liu's piece on forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.